Alright, this glue is dried enough now that we can start cutting. And you can see we've got a whole piece of glass here and a bunch of patterns here. So what we need to do is cut away some of this stuff that we're going to save. And you can either use the square or not. And you can use the running pliers or not. And we'll save that piece. And we'll take this one and make it two pieces here to save. Just cut one across there. And then maybe I'll save this for like another sun catcher or something further down the road. Set that aside and set that aside. Okay, now it's entirely up to you this next step. Some people like to go ahead and just leave the glue on and use their glass cutter right through it. I usually do that just to save a little time. But some people like to be a little more precise and they like to roll that extra dried glue away from where they're going to cut. So you just roll it away with your fingers. My little camera girl is kind of anxious here because she likes to do this. Okay, that was pretty well cleaned up. Alright, again, what we're going to do is we're going to do the inside cut first. Now we could do this in stages, but it's kind of a gradual enough curve that I think we'll be able to get away with doing that in one cut. So you take your cutter, the center part of it, and cut just a little bit beyond the edge of that paper. You've got to leave just a little bit of space, but not a whole lot, because you're going to grind that smooth. So follow that paper and then get your grozers. Yep, we did a pretty good cut. Now you can see there's just a little bit of glass beyond that. That's a pretty good cut. Now if you don't get that close, that's okay. You can leave a little bit more, it just means you have to do a little bit more grinding. And now we'll do our outside cuts. These are all just going to be straight cuts. Just follow just outside of that paper. And you can score them all at the same time. Now remember, when we do glass, we break away from mass, which means you break off the smaller pieces and leave the bigger pieces. So this is the massive part here. We'll break off this small piece here. See, the grozer's close enough. Take this next cut. Take the next cut. And there you have your first piece, all ready to grind. And these are all trash. I'm going to let my camera girl take the glue off of that one while I cut this next piece. Now that you got the glue to dry and your pattern's all done up, you'll notice probably here that I've got some different colored glass than what we originally glued up. And that's because this is a retake. I wanted you to better be able to see what I'm doing. So what we'll do is you've taken and glued this in a way that's going to maximize the use of your glass, so that you can save a little piece here. So we'll take off this excess piece first. And I'm just going to break this one with my fingers. And we'll save this for something else later on. Okay, now you need to separate the pieces. What I like to do when I do that is incorporate one of the cuts, just to save time so that I don't have to cut it and then recut it. So I'm going to cut a line right along this edge, and just about like a half a wheel's width away if I do it right here. So I'll start out here, cutting away from my body again, following that line. And this time I'm going to use the running pliers. line really good. I won't have to recut that side. Okay, once again, we have an inside cut and some outside cut, so I'm going to do this inside cut first. If that fails, I still have a little bit of space here. I can move this pattern over here and still use this piece of glass, or I can even move it up. So I'm going to do this inside cut first. And I think it's not curved so much that we're going to have to do extra cuts. We'll just try to do it with one. I may be wrong. I know that the tension's building. Again, take your grozers, just like we practiced. Break that away. Now we're going to do some outside cuts. Remember, I've got a point here, so we'll leave a little extra insurance space there so that it won't break across that point. So I'll start a little further away from it. We'll do like we did the outside cuts. We'll draw a line there. We'll do a line along there. Do another one there. And then lastly, we'll do this one here. Okay. And again, instead of starting to break it here, I might end up breaking this weak point. So I'll break it towards me on this one break. And like so. Let's go ahead and do one more, and I will try a lot harder to keep it inside the camera frame so you can better see. And I'll just demonstrate without talking much here. The inside cut first. And it gets relaxing when you start cutting like this. Okay, again, we'll take our grozers, do this first one, and then we can start doing the others. I usually keep a garbage can close to where I'm cutting, because instead of throwing them on the table here, I usually take the pieces in my grozers and throw them right in the garbage. I hope you're able to see that better. I tried to keep it in the frame. Yeah, that's how you cut pieces.